Tara. Not Tara. Not fucking Tara.
So who cares? Why not do your own thing and let them say what they want?
What's up, guys? I'm back in my bikini, and today we're going to be talking about something very polarizing. If you hate me already, I am going to give you a reason to hate me much, much more, because this isn't the most positive video, I guess. And if you like me, you might find me relatable, or I might alienate you. Let's find out which that is. Today we're going to be talking about my long list of things that are pet peeves to me, little actions that people can do, little nuances, things that drive me crazy just viscerally. And what better place to do it than inside of my pool? Before we get into this, the obligatory disclaimer that if you do happen to have one of these things or display one of these characteristics, that does not necessarily mean that you are a bad person, and it also doesn't even mean that you are someone I would dislike. I never judge a book by its cover or by one of its actions, and I just called you an it. If you happen to have one or more of these things, know that maybe you're not even exhibiting the thing that I'm talking about in the way that I hate it, and also know that I would give you a fair shot before disliking you. With that being said, who the fuck cares if I dislike you or would dislike you? You can still enjoy my content on a transactional basis. I give you entertainment, you consume it, and then leave, or stick around and watch some more. Don't take my word for it, just be the person that you want to be, and don't worry about what I think. Let's get into it. The first thing I fucking hate is when people congratulate me for not degrading myself by doing porn. I know it comes from a place of niceness, but think about it. By you saying that and by me actually being like, thanks, I would be complicit in dissing people who do porn. Just because porn is not for me does not mean that I think it is morally wrong or wrong for other people. And I also don't think what I do is very far removed from porn when morality is concerned. Basically, just never hold me up on a moral pedestal. Ever, because you're probably wrong. The next thing I hate is a dichotomy where I hate both ends of the spectrum, but there's a middle ground that's kind of okay. For instance, I hate it when people, particularly people who don't know me very well or people in the comment section who've only watched one or two videos, tiptoe around my fucking feelings. I really hate it when people don't say what they mean and say what they think. I know a lot of people will pass this off as nice guy TM, I'm just being nice, but really, you're fucking lying to me and being fake. I'm not telling you to go up to a complete stranger who isn't putting themselves out on the internet and just be like, hey, that toupee looks really fucking bad. But if you're going to be my friend or even my viewer, I would appreciate honesty in what you think. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we have people who hide behind, I'm just being honest, while clearly having a very strong bias and not being honest. People who are basically mean just because they don't like you and they want you to feel bad, but then they hide behind, I'm just being honest. Obviously, this is kind of hard to discern, harder than I'm making it seem, but for me, where my annoyances lie is when I feel like you're doing one of these two things. Don't cuck yourself for me, and don't say you hate things about someone you don't hate just because you hate the person as a whole for some other reason. It's annoying. Two examples of this from my comment section. On one end of the spectrum, the super nice guy TM / nice girl TM end of the spectrum, saying things like, I don't mean to be offensive, but you're really beautiful. And on the other end of the spectrum, you have the guys saying that I'm like the most hideous being they've ever seen in their entire lives and going out of their way to add crazy adjectives to the sentence when clearly there's a lot of emotionality involved because they just don't like something I've said in the past. And a great segue to the next one, which is the nice guy / nice girl TM behavior. I really hate this whole like nice guys finish last. I have made a video about this before, but nice guys do not finish last. Boring, uninteresting, unmotivated, ugly guys who don't take care of their personal hygiene are the ones that lose. Guys who are nice to a girl at first, but then go all sour grapes on them when they don't fuck them, those are the guys that lose. Work on yourself. Have something that's worth dating. Don't be a negative Nancy. Be driven. Have a career. Don't just forsake looking hot because you're like, oh my god, I'm a guy. I shouldn't have to care. You should. If you want to get fucked. And the same goes for nice girls. If you're the frumpy girl that's always like mad because guys aren't dating you, yet you're a shy wallflower and you never talk to anyone, you don't show any kind of personality whatsoever, and you're not working on getting a body that can even healthily produce offspring, fix yourself. Sometimes it's not you, but sometimes it is. Next is people who ask a basic question without trying at all to find the answer themselves. Now, this would be relatively innocuous if it wasn't happening like a billion times a day because I'm a content creator with a platform. This is a little bit different from people just asking the same questions over and over, not apparent questions. Obviously, as a content creator, you get asked many of the same questions over and over again, but people are just genuinely curious, and for them to find out, they would have to go through every video of yours. I understand that people aren't gonna do that and don't have time for it. Questions like, how tall are you? how old are you, things like that are a little bit harder to find, I let that pass. Annoying, but I understand. But when people ask me what my link is, and I said the link will be in the description, or just something that is so very fucking apparent, it drives me insane. Put a little bit of effort in before you ask people. Because I have to answer thousands of these questions a day, so even though it seems like it wouldn't be a big deal for me to tell you, oh, here it is, let me just copy and paste it from the description, it gets a little cumbersome if I have to do it 1,000 times a day. You would have to do it once a day. I would have to do it 1,000 times a day. So be a little more self-sufficient. That would be nice. All you gotta do is skim the description in most cases. Don't be the demure wallflower afraid to ask questions now. Please don't be that person, because that would be a pet peeve too. Next, people who spell my name wrong. Okay, like I get it if I'm out and I'm like, hey, my name's Tara, put that on my cup of coffee. I don't drink coffee, I don't go to Starbucks, but let's say that was a situation that happened. That's fine, that makes sense. I'm not saying that you're supposed to treat me as some kind of celebrity who everyone knows every detail about, but if you are on my YouTube channel or my Instagram and you spell my name T-E-R-R-A or T-E-R-A, what in the goddamn fuck? You had to click my name to get here. What is wrong with you? And then most of these people who spell my name wrong, I swear they're trolls because they go like, I'm your biggest fan, T-E-R-A. What? Jesus fucking Christ. It's like you were dropped on your head as a child. Next, I hate it when people call me Tara. I am mean to people sometimes who've called me Tara. If you're one of those people, a server, a waiter, why would I be telling my name to a server or a waiter? Scratch that. Someone checking me in for some kind of medical emergency, like some flare-up of gonorrhea. Never had STDs, by the way. It's comedy. Bad comedy, but still comedy. And you say, Tara. My whole insides implode. You don't understand how hard it is for me not to sternly say something like, it's Tara. Oh yeah, I don't proclaim to be the nicest person in the world, and I apologize to anyone who's gotten on my bad side. Never mind me, I don't matter. Oh god, this is a big one. This is a big one that a lot of people who watch my channel often have heard me address many times. The comment usually goes like this: too much Botox in lips. You can have the opinion that I have too much lip filler, but Botox, let me paint this picture for you one more time. If you put Botox, a nerve paralyzing agent, into your fucking lips, you wouldn't be able to suck a dick, you wouldn't be able to close your mouth to eat anything because it paralyzes muscles, and that's all it does. Botox is for softening wrinkles that were made by contracting your muscles, so you put them here, you put it here, but do you use it to fill things like lips and make lips bigger? No, you fucking don't. So if you tell me too much Botox in lips, not only do you look like a fucking moron, I wanna like end you in-game. Okay, this is a softcore one. Let's calm down for this one, because a lot of my friends do it. People who call patrons Patreons. Patreon, the crowdfunding site, you guys know, I have one, whatever, check the description if you want to see it. Patreon is kind of like Pantheon. It's a place for people to patronize your content, insofar as they give you money to support your cause and then they get things in return, like signed autographed prints. You are a patron of their work. I feel like only people who have never heard or used the word patron, like patron of some kind of establishment buying something, you know, would call Patreon users Patreons. It drives me crazy. Brycey does it. Calling out Brycey here. But I love you, girl, otherwise. And see, this is a perfect example of people doing something that's just kind of like my brain just goes a little bit, but I still love you. Okay, the next thing a lot of people are probably gonna take issue with, because a lot of people are gonna recognize that they have done this in the past, and they're gonna say, well, I did this for good reasons. I understand that some of these things are done with the best of intentions, at least you think they're the best of intentions. I recognize and understand that, but all the same, it bothers the fuck out of me, and that is virtue signaling while being very apparently super selfish. It drives me crazy. One example of this would be people talking about how much they give to charity when someone questions whether or not they're a good person. You know that you only gave to charity, very apparently, if you bring that up every time, because you're insecure about how good of a person you are, and you give to charity just so that people know you gave to charity. Obviously, I think these very selfish impulses are good and natural. Everyone does everything for selfish reasons. But to proclaim that you are the pillar of morality and good personism because you did something that at the root of it, you're doing it just for selfish reasons, to look better or to feel better for yourself, is just very cringy to me. Another example of this is, don't talk about XYZ. My dad or me or someone else is XYZ. Do you know what you're doing by saying that? Not only are you saying that I can't talk about this specific thing just because it affects you, even though there are hundreds of things that you're okay with me talking about that affect other people and you don't mind, you're also trying to put a stipend on what I'm allowed to say because of your own personal insecurities. If you're the kind of person that can't hear certain words or deal with certain topics, don't click on videos that talk about those topics. Appreciate my right to free speech just as I appreciate your right to not watch my content if I'm offending you in any way. Offense is taken, not given, as I always say. And so to limit a content creator based on only your subjective notion of what offends you at the moment is just crazy to me. Another thing that's annoying to me is attacking people's character with any kind of ad hominems in an actual debate. I am personally a big believer in trying to understand and empathize with every point of view, even if it's one that I can't even fathom having myself, because it makes me a smarter person and it makes my arguments more nuanced. I understand people being emotional when they hear something that shocks them or something that they very much disagree with, but devolving your argument into ad homs is just a bad argument and just puts you in bad faith. And shows how fucking emotional you are. It's like you've already lost. Another thing that bothers me a lot, unfortunately, is slow-speaking people. I know a lot of people tell me to slow down, and that's because English isn't their first language, but oh my god, when I listen to a YouTuber or something, or some kind of like TED Talks person, or a teacher, or another person in real life, and they talk really, really slow, like I understand sometimes being nervous or like fucking up your speech or something, but when someone speaks like painfully slow. I prefer people like Ben Shapiro and Destiny, to be honest, who speak really fast. I like getting as much knowledge as possible into a tiny condensed version. If I want to slow it down, I can. But I can't speed up people in real life, and it drives me crazy because sometimes it's just like, talk. If you have ever played Magic the Gathering at any kind of competitive level, I'm sure you've encountered someone, or even not a competitive level, like at your local F&M fucking card shop. I'm sure you've encountered people that play way too slow. You're literally like, I wish I could pick up my phone right now and go through Instagram because I'm waiting on this decision-making process that has to be like that overlay of equations, that meme that you see. Like, it has to be like that, because what is he doing? That wasn't a very relatable example, but you get it. Another thing I hate is people in power, or anyone at all, ever, saying, because I said so, as a reason for not doing something. Let me give advice to some parents, as someone who's childless and will never have kids. Don't just tell them because you said so. That is like asking for fucking rebellion. To any critical thinking person, or a rebellious teenager, that's asking to get fucked over. If you have a good reason for not doing something, tell people why it's not good to do and let them make their own informed opinions. If there's a law that I don't like, if there's a rule somewhere that I don't like, I like asking why, so I know whether or not I can forsake that place entirely and move on to another place, or go like, I hadn't thought about that before. I understand why that rule's in place. For instance, let's get an example in there. Let's say you're telling your kid not to run with scissors. They ask why, you say, because I fucking said so, kid. I had no power growing up, so I'm gonna assert my ultimate dominance over this child here and raise him as if he were in Nazi Germany. That kid's still gonna run with scissors. He doesn't understand why. Oh, a lizard! Oh! Gotta film the lizard. I saw a lizard while I was filming. Whoa, cool lizard. Hi there, lizard. I want to go see him closer. Oh, it's so fast. Okay, I'm sorry. I really like lizards, spiders, everything, but especially lizards. So anyway, sorry. If you tell the kid the reason he can't run with scissors is because he might fall and literally puncture a lung and die forever and be like incapacitated for the rest of his life or something, at least if he decides himself, which underage kids don't really have the opportunity to decide, but you are giving them a foundation on which they can make decisions in the future if you let them in on how to make decisions and why certain rules are in place. He might actually listen to you better, and at least you're doing the good faith thing to your child to not just be like, do as I say, not as I do, which is stupid, okay? This kind of ties into one of the earlier ones, but it says, assuming virtues about me while assuming the opposite of other people. Quote, I love how smart you are. Unlike most girls, it's only when unwarranted. Like, if you really think that, like, most girls aren't like that, then you can say that, it's fine. But it puts me and the person you're giving the compliment to in an awkward position, because it's like, I have to agree with you that there's something wrong with the people that you're putting down while giving me a compliment. I don't ever think it's necessary to put other people down while giving a compliment, though I do things like that when I do feel that way. I just think that if you want to more effectively give a compliment to girls, don't make them feel uncomfortable by putting down their peers, you know? The next thing that really bothers me is being overly concerned about any plastic surgery I've had or anything that I'm doing with my diet. It bothers the fuck out of me because it's condescending. And I know a lot of people mean well by it. Like, they don't want me to become this like plastic surgery obsessed person, or they don't want me to get unhealthily skinny or unhealthily fat or something. But that statement in itself just assumes that you think that I'm some kind of crazy person that's gonna go overboard and doesn't know what they want and is just like retardedly doing things with no research. It assumes that I'm a kind of person that I'm definitely not a kind of dumbass, and you're here to save me. It's also prying too much into my personal life and my personal decision making, which usually I'm perfectly fine with, from someone who clearly doesn't know me if they're assuming these things about me. You know, it's like if some random person comes up to me and they're like, you should watch out how much filler you put in your lips, you might turn into Joan Rivers or something. Why would you just assume about me that I'm too stupid to even know that it's possible to put too much in my lips? I think I know what I'm doing. It's always going to warrant the response, I think I know what I'm doing with my own body, from women, because it's a fucking stupid thing to say in the first place. Not saying you can't do it, but you're gonna look stupid doing it. And you're disrespecting the person's mental fortitude and decision-making process and intelligence in the process. Another thing very closely tied to that is someone telling me I don't need to do something. You don't need to get plastic surgery. You don't need to lose any weight. You don't need to buy a big house. That was one thing. Usually people don't talk about my purchases because I don't make frivolous, crazy, like Gucci bag purchases. I don't waste my money and then complain about money or anything like that. But mostly it's about what I do with my body and stuff. Telling me I don't need to do something for aesthetics that is by definition elective. Oh, the lizard's back! Elective surgery? Duh! I don't need to do it. I don't need to do anything. I happen to want to do it. I happen to think that it's for the benefit of me to do it, so I'm going to do it. I've made the decision to do it. It wasn't just a haphazard decision. And again, I'm not a retard. I can make my own decisions. Thank you. And it's really annoying, especially when I talk about weight, because people are like assuming, I guess, based on saying that I want to lose weight because someone told me to. Like, you don't need to lose weight. You look great the way you are. I personally don't think so, and I'm personally not happy with my health at this size or something like that. So why would you tell me what I don't need to do? My happiness with my appearance, with my body, with my health, with my life does not hinge on your opinions. And if one person could just tell me that I look beautiful and now I don't feel like I need to lose weight, why are you even following a person like that? Gross. I know, again, it's coming from a good place, but it's so fucking annoying. It's like I understand the intentions, but then I also understand what these actions are saying, and they're very annoying, and having to respond to them is very annoying sometimes. Another thing I don't like, histrionics. I fucking hate it. Histrionics is being overly emotional, crying for no reason, being just like, doing it too much or doing it for attention or anything like that. If I perceive that that's why you're doing it, or if you're just overly emotional, it just drives me up the wall. It's one of the big reasons why I can't stand being around girls very often, and why I also can't stand myself getting in that mode, even if I feel like it's justified. Obviously, if I'm crying, I feel like it's justified, but it does make me cringe a little bit that I'm that sad to cry, you know? Another thing I absolutely hate is sycophantic behavior, unless I'm in like some kind of sub-dom relationship like with Rubber Tongue. If my viewers start acting too much like sycophants and it's very apparent that they're just saying what I want them to say or believing what I believe just to like be on my level and to get some kind of like points from me, it doesn't work that way. You're gonna get a lot more points from me nicely debating something that I've said, or nicely refuting something that I've said, or just saying something general like nice video, Tara, than you are if you act like you're absolutely fucking in love with me and you'll die for me. It's fucking annoying. Don't change your opinions for me. Be yourself. This is another characteristic of nice guy TM that guys often exhibit. They don't understand that having a personality and disagreeing sometimes is actually attractive to women. When women are shown that you can teach them something, that's really sexy. And when you disagree with a girl or put her in her place, a real submissive woman will appreciate that. People who say typical shit that I hear 100 times a day and act like it's the first time anyone said it. I don't understand the mindset of someone coming into my content and being like, tits for views, your parents must be proud, e-thought. And then sometimes it even goes beyond that, because it's not just them trying to be an ass for a second and leave. They'll write full paragraphs trying to psychoanalyze me in the same way that people have every 5 minutes. And it's just like, bro, do you think you're some kind of like revolutionary thinker? It's basically like, if I could explain it succinctly, it would be, have you tried turning it off and on again? But in the comment section of a video. Duh! Another one that I've written down here is there anything real about you? Oh shit, bro, no, my blood is actually made of fucking plastic too. I had it transfused because I just don't want to be real in any way. I am sure that you are not fapping to the way that I look right now just simply because you're thinking about how much I am made up of plastic. Women who think being funny is making weird faces, voices, or just being gross. Women often don't have a great sense of humor because women didn't grow up having to have a sense of humor in order to get a mate, to get friends. Women are just generally gravitated around. They have a lot more social opportunities than men do, so men actually have to cultivate a personality and a good sense of humor. So I'm not faulting women for, because of some form of evolution, they just don't naturally come with a sense of humor, and that's why you'll find that a lot of the uglier guys are funnier and smarter, and a lot of the hotter guys are less so. It's a similar reason to why girls aren't as funny, but the bar for what's hot and what can get a date and can get friends on girls is much lower than guys. So girls can be pretty ugly and still not need a sense of humor to get by. So things like, I'm so funny, guys. Like, that is not funny. Here's an example. I have a link. I don't know what this link is. Oh, okay. Here it is. It's a video of OK Law, who I follow because I like her, doing just some dumb shit in a makeup tutorial, making faces and being like, ooh, and like thinking that that's what comedy is. I don't know. That kind of humor is obnoxious to me. It's one of the reasons that I'm not a huge fan of Jessica Nigri, because I feel like a lot of her personality and her quirkiness is like being gross, being dorky. It just bothers me. I don't know. I don't find it entertaining. Of course, you can find that entertaining and find me very unfunny. That is your prerogative, and I'm sure I'll have a lot of those comments down in the comment section because no one has ever accused me of being a hypocrite because they disagree with me. Next, we're finally getting into the grammar stuff, which is probably at the top of my list. I don't know why it took so long in this notepad for me to write it down, but I hate it when people say something like, the problem is, it's the problem is. How I see it is global warming. Like, stop! Why are you adding extra ises? You already did it. You already fucking, you're good. People not knowing the difference between the contraction and possessive your, there. That shit's annoying. Obviously, it's not just because you're typing and don't care. It's because you don't know, and you don't know fourth grade grammar, and if you want anyone to take you seriously, just fucking use the right shit. You can use shortcuts, but you don't have to, when you're talking normally, not know those things. And then I put underneath that all things basic bad grammar. It's fourth grade shit, dude, so apparently I'm the same person I was when I wrote this. Next is shitty internet. Yeah, fucking hate that. People with too much sympathy and not a wide range of empathy. This is everyone today. Oh my god. Now let me explain what that means, because a lot of people don't really understand that there actually is a war between what sympathy and empathy means. So when I say sympathy, I mean feeling sorry for someone, which is in itself kind of condescending as well, because I don't want your fucking sympathy, dude. But empathy is actually understanding where a person's coming from. You don't have to have gone through it yourself, but you have thought through why a person would do that certain thing or why a person would think that certain way. And I personally think in the world we are lacking this so hard. It's so bad because people just want to demonize other people, deperson other people for their beliefs and their views. If you really think hard about why a person does anything, there's no mystical evil or good. We all have the propensity for these things, and it is all just an equation of things that happened before us and how we're reacting, how we're coping with what we've gone through. And once you understand that, once you try to look at things from people's perspectives, I'm not saying that that makes those things good or okay, or we should just not put any blame on them, but understanding it and keeping that person human in your head will give you a way better understanding of the world and what's going on than just being like, he's a bad person! Oh my god, I'm so much better of a person! That is the most annoying shit. Holy fuck. I put, when I mention something I want to improve about myself or that I don't like about me, and they reassure me. This, again, is the whole like, you don't need to lose weight, blah, blah, blah. I'm not looking for reassurance. If I'm telling you, especially in a YouTube video where I'm introspecting about what I want to change or what I want to improve, I'm not necessarily looking for your advice, and I'm certainly not looking for you to tell me that what I want to do with my body or life is wrong, okay? I'm telling you because I'm going through my thought process, so maybe you can relate to it, or maybe you find it interesting or cathartic to listen to someone talk about these things. I'm not asking you to please make me feel better, and that is one thing I really don't like about girls and being girlfriends with people. It's why I don't have a lot of girlfriends, on top of the humor thing and a bunch of other stuff, is that like girls like to fish for compliments. And so I understand why you would maybe think that I'm fishing for compliments, because, you know, it does make you feel good when someone says something nice about you, but not when you're asking for it. Not when the person feels obligated to tell you that you look pretty. Like, if Jay was ever like, whoa, you look really pretty right now, I know that I look really good at that time to him, and that feels way better than me being like, oh, I'm stupid, make me feel better. Like, does that really make you feel better that this person thinks that lying to you or telling you when they don't actually feel it is an obligation in your friendship? Moving on. Acting entitled to something from me because they have supported / donated, etc., not just on Patreon, but when people say, quote, I have been subbed for a long time and you made a joke that hurt me. Please don't joke about Jews / etc. / say said word. Yeah, okay. Anyone who thinks that because they have bought something for me or done something for me or anything that I should now not be myself myself for you or mold myself around you, it's not gonna happen with me. Maybe some content creators will feel like they're not contributing enough to get support to keep making content. I don't know, maybe they're insecure about that stuff, so they want to mold themselves entirely around their audience, but that to me would be against my brand, and my brand is just being authentic and enjoying myself and having fun and hopefully being relatable and entertaining, and sometimes I'll teach you something maybe, hopefully, or make you think. I don't know. Mostly titties. Do not ever get me wrong, I appreciate so much what you guys do for me. All of the hours that you viewed my content, all of the times that you said something nice about me, all of the comments, every single donation on my Twitch page, every single patron on my Patreon, I love you guys so much. But part of what I do is being me, and asking me to change that, well, you might as well just take back your pledges on Patreon and your support and everything and just go somewhere else, because that's not me. I wanted to be a little more gentle with that one because I understand where people are coming from. In a way, you guys did make me who I am because you are the people that are sticking around and watching my content, but it's because I hope, at least, and if not, leave, please. Don't do it because you feel bad. You're watching it because you actually get something out of it. Doesn't matter what it is, you like it, you get something out of it. People who won't talk about heavy topics like politics, morality, etc. Yeah, I don't really like it when people have touchy subjects. I never understood why people won't tell other people how much they make or what they do or something, and that's just because I'm a really open person. But usually I just end up not meshing with the kind of person who's like, wow, how dare you ask me that? I like people who are open and honest and forthcoming and helpful and transparent, and so it's a little bit of a turnoff for me when I ask someone a question, they're like, I don't want to talk about that. I understand some people have their things they don't want to talk about. Some people don't want to talk about things at the moment, and that's fine too. Still, I would prefer that they didn't do that ever. Next, people telling me not to unbox figures. Oh my god, the rant is coming back. Dude, I do not get figures so that I can sell them for 25% profit later down the line and have like a full clutter of boxes in my house. I have figures and collectibles and plushies and things like that because I genuinely enjoy them and like displaying them, and I like the way that they look and the aesthetic that they bring to my content. I actually want to use and enjoy these things. I'm not here to just be a collector that sells things. I understand if that's what you want to do, but I don't feel like you're actually loving those things that you're collecting if you're keeping them in a box, unless it's like Funko Pop figures, because in a box, all the same thing, that looks kind of cool. But if you're keeping things in a box in like a closet and you're just hoping to sell them later, you don't love those things. At least I can't imagine you loving those things. So don't tell me to do that. That's ridiculous. I don't care about the money I can make for them later. Ew! Very obvious political pandering in movies and media. I don't mind any kind of representation. I don't mind when characters are gay. I don't mind when characters are all different races, genders, creeds, whatever. I don't mind if someone wants to go more realistic than not, or less realistic even, and have a fully black something, or a fully girl something, or a fully white something. I don't care at all. But what does bother me is when it's obvious. When I'm watching a movie and all I feel is this really unrelatable leftist propaganda or some shit, and it rarely happens with right-wing stuff. Maybe it's because I like agree with it more. I don't know. I really can't stand any of the obvious pandering. And obviously what's obvious is subjective and it can be done well. For instance, one of my favorite TV shows is Sense8. Sense8 is a ridiculous amalgamation of gay, trans, straight, white, black, every culture ever. But they did it good. Like, I get chills, and it's everyone coming together and enjoying each other, not talking about the problems that they have or the things that make them different. I think it's so fucking awesome. It's also hot to see the love that forms between the German dude and the Indian woman and like all of their problems that are specific to their cultures. That is so amazing, and how they come together, it's so good. I'm assuming that the writers of that are SJWs and are trying to push an agenda, but the agenda that I want pushed is not, oh, woe is me for this one race, or oh, let's put this in here, it doesn't make any sense. It's good content. Another annoying thing is people who say Nazism. A lot of people are talking about Nazis lately because they think that, you know, there's some kind of resurgence of white supremacy, but it's basically just like white people feeling threatened because we have to give non-white people extra assurances that white people don't get. Very like affirmative action-y, which of course is gonna make the white people feel very disconcerted because they're like, I didn't do anything wrong to these people, I want everything to be equal, but they want things to be so equal it's unequal again. And that's where these like idiot ass white nationalist type people are coming from, at least in my opinion. Anyway, what the fuck am I talking about? It's Nazism. Not Nazism, Nazism.
Nazism. Nazism.
This. It just says loading. There's literally nothing there. I want to know what this is. Maybe I just really hate and am pet peeved by loading content. I had no idea your butt was so nice, etc. when I post tons of butt pics. Yeah, that's one. I now have a whole Instagram dedicated to my butt. If you're interested, it's my backup account. It just reached 10K. So if anytime I get banned or shadow banned or just take pictures of my butt, I'm posting it over there. People who say etc. It's etc. Etc. Small thing, small thing. People showing up unannounced. I was talking about this last night on stream. I really don't like people who call me on the phone and expect to talk, who show up to my house expecting to see me. That is so fucking annoying. I really don't like to be forced into a social situation, and it doesn't make any sense to me why anyone would just show up unannounced unless someone actually said, hey, I really love that you showing up unannounced. Like, I can't imagine saying that. I guess if I had a new boyfriend and I was like really horny all the time and then he randomly shows up because he should basically be living with me at this point, then sure. Let me add one to this. I hated when I was in the modeling industry, and it still happens sometimes when people want to do sponsorships with me and stuff, where people request a phone call to talk in person and they don't just want to hear that it's really me or get a sense or a feel for how the person is. They want to talk all the details over the phone. No, email. Like, email is so nice because you'll have a transcript of what was said. So if I say 2 p.m. and that person later says, oh, I wanted 3 p.m., I'm like, receipts? Or like, if I want to remember exactly what the itinerary of the day is, I want it to be written down in an email that I can search and just find the answer to. I don't want to have to call back and be like, what did you say? I don't remember anything and I didn't want to write it down because fuck that, you know, like, oh, so annoying. Okay, next. This is going to be a little weird and nuanced and it's going to be hard to explain probably. I wrote down judging things like veganism for not being balanced diets, then eating pizzas and having no macros. Same thing with same-sex parents. Like, for instance, the veganism thing. People saying like, oh, it's so hard to get protein and there's this vitamin and that vitamin you can't get through veganism, so veganism is bad. You're just coping because you want to have a real reason to be slaughtering animals, and I'm not even a vegan anymore, and I'm saying that it's ridiculous that these people who are fat as fuck, eating pizza, not checking macros, not going to the gym, are talking about how unhealthy it is. Vegans are way often more healthy than the average person. So of course, if you have to put a lot of thought into your diet like you do with veganism, you're probably going to be a lot more healthy than the random guy that just eats whatever the fuck he wants or doesn't have time to eat and forgets breakfast and shit like that. You don't have the right to tell people that what they're doing is dumb when they're doing something better than you in that specific field. You do have the right to say, I just don't want to do it because bacon tastes good. You can say that, whatever, do what you want, but don't make fucking dumb arguments about it. Same with the same-sex parents or the single parents. Yeah, it's probably better to grow up in a household where you have a mom and a dad who gives you masculine perspectives and feminine perspectives and they work together in tandem, but that's a utopia. Some people can't do that, and you're acting like your abusive relationship is a better foundation for child rearing than, let's say, a happy same-sex couple. Like, come on, calm down. I hate it when people call me ma'am. Gross. Also, when people fuck up words really bad, similar to etc., people will say things like supposedly or supposively instead of supposedly. You've never spelled the word once in your life or something. And the last one, this is a long video. I had a lot of shit. This is what I wrote down. I suggest something, they comply, then it doesn't work and they're like, oh yeah, that's why I didn't want to do that. I already knew. But you didn't speak up. What the fuck? Like, we have a problem or something, right? And I suggest a solution, the person goes along with it, and then when it fails, they act like they knew it would fail all along, but they were just going along with me. Why didn't you voice your opposition? Why didn't you give me that knowledge? This is kind of like the I said so argument, you know? Except you didn't say so. And you didn't even give me a reason why. You just went along with it, now you want to blame me because it failed. This is clearly something I've experienced in like past relationships or something, and it does happen occasionally with me and Jay. Since it's the last thing on the list, I probably wrote it down after Jay and I had some dumb argument about that or something. You can say, I told you so, after the fact, if you told me so. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if any of these are relatable. Let me know your random pet peeves and try to explain them to the best of your ability because I love to hear this shit. Let me know if there's anything that I do that peeves you a little bit. I would love to hear that. I have no problems with that. I understand that everyone's different and has different sensibilities. And it's fun to kind of rant and share things that aren't necessarily the epitome of positivity, even though I feel like my overall message is always positive. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. Don't let any of this deter you from being yourself. In fact, you should listen to more opposing opinions so you can see more that there are going to be people out there for you, because there are people out there that hate and like everything. Thank you for watching me and my Triforce Bikini, and I will see you in the next video. Links in the description. And you spell my name T-A-R-A. Tara. Not Tara. Not fucking Tara. Murica. Another pet peeve. People who don't think Murica best country in the world, and that we're living in the best time ever. Ooh, one more. Okay, when people act like technology is a problem and maybe we should scale back, they think that they should like stifle innovation because certain problems come with the current innovation. Like for instance, everyone's looking at their phones all the time. People are becoming less social. We just have to adapt and teach people differently for the changing climate because we don't want to stifle progress and technological advancement. There's never a time, at least in my opinion, where it will be worth it. And that's my opinion. Fuck. Bye.